keep on painting, and don't afraid taking a risk. Don't afraid that like to showcase your work to other people, and be open about other people critic, and keep on painting.
Ha,
Hi.
how are you?
I'm very good. How
Nice to
about
meet
yourself?
you again. Nice to meet you again. As someone who has been inspired by your work, I have decided to document it for the greater good.
Thanks a lot for this.
So let's start out. Where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I grew up in a very small village in central of Vietnam.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
And how was you growing up? The experience, like your family dynamic. And
Yeah. I born in a very big family and many siblings. And where I came from, maybe 15, 20 years ago, there was no running water, there no even electricity. So it's very basic lifestyle. And that is where I was born and grew up until 18 years old.
So was it like you grew up in a small village, or was just a small village? And you said there was no running water. And when was this? Back in
1995, that time I born in 1987.
Okay.
So we have a lot of minority people in the village as well. And the lifestyle is very far away from the civilization nowadays. So growing up in that, I don't even have candy, nothing.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
very
you said
basic.
that it was a big family. It was like, it was you and how many siblings?
6 in total, included me.
Okay. How did your upbringing shape your perspective as an artist? Like what, the way that you grew up, how did it reflects in your art?
Because when I was young, I spent a lot of time in the nature and a lot of time around my friends, a lot of time around people. So I think the biggest 2 factors that influences me is the nature and the people. So as an artist, for me, the face, everybody have their own uniqueness. And this uniqueness, it creates who they are. So for me, that like being inspired by that, making a painting, create art based on each individual is always interesting for me. And how to balance it. And I use a lot of factor in the nature, the layout that the nature gave it to me. In that way, I recreate it into my portrait form.
Oh, perfect. And when did you realize that you first had a passion for art? Like in what like was it like when you were in primary school, or when did you first have a liking for art?
When I was young, I always like spend time observing things, like watching things. Like if it's a bee on the flower, I will keep an eye very close to watch it. And where I come from, being an artist, is not something that you will survive, and it's not reality to become an artist. So I always enjoy and create drawing on the sand and on the ground, but it's never been supported fully. And with the people around, they have the bigger influences on you when you was young. So being an artist when a young age is not the right thing. So the more I grow up, I'm thinking I want to do something that with creative, but a bit more reality. So I choose my career as an architect.
An architect?
An architect, yeah.
Okay.
So I went to school, graduated as an architect, and I even worked as a lecturer in a university for architects for 1 year. And it turned out I didn't like it at all. And so I always wanted to go back to do what I really like, that's mean painting, drawing, creativity, without any pressure on it. So art, that is how it started with me after my architect journey.
Does your architecture knowledge translate in your art in any way?
Absolutely, yeah. Because like when you study architects, you create building, you create design, and based on that, when you understand the theory of the design, and with that theory of design, that like helped me a lot into my artistic journey. Because like sometimes when as an architect, when they look at something, they're always curious like how can this be beautiful? And because of that, have that mindset in my that helped me a lot with my artistic.
Okay, nice. Do you remember the first time you picked up a paintbrush and you were proud of this one piece of art? Well, now that I know that you have a background in architecture, it might
Yeah.
not be as prominent, but
Yeah.
is there a piece of art that you first painted and you were very proud of? Can you remember it?
Absolutely, yeah. I think that it was a birthday present for my friend. And as a student, architect student, and you wanted to bring a nice gift to your friend during a birthday present.
Okay, yeah.
And I thought so hard and long that like something unique, something that like I can make it, but other people cannot make it at that moment. So I started making a portrait of my friend with pencil sketch. And I brought it as a birthday present, and the friends really enjoyed it. And because of how people are liking what it is, and I got more inspiring to do more. So that's the first piece.
Mm-hmm. And that feeling of giving a gift to someone, and you created it. Explain that to me. Like you feel joy in
Yeah,
creating something and someone likes it.
yeah. Because like I enjoy because like I able to capture the uniqueness of that person. And we all curious how we look in painting. We always curious like how the other people portrays in looking at us in other people way. So for me that like making a drawing is very personal. And so when you understand the people, you make it in an interesting way. So it's nice that way.
And when you started to paint, how did your friends and family react to you, being a painter? Like, was there other painters around you who you felt in a community, or was it just they reacted in a way that, oh, you're a painter?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how did they react to you being a painter? Or you wanted to
Yeah.
pursue art?
At that moment, because like I'm so in it, I only see what I wanted to see at that moment. Because like I enjoy the paint so much, I care so less about how people react. And actually, I always stick with the people that are cheering for me. And I think because of that moment, like the critique I receive is like a lot of positive. Even though I know that like every artistic journey, there is a lot of things to work on, but the friends around very supportive, and in a way they're giving me so much of motivation to keep on doing. And that's been like this more than 13 years with painting and.
Mm-hmm. And were there any moments where you were doubtful of your artistic ability? Like you look at your art and you say maybe you're comparing it to something else, and you're like, it might not be the best. Yeah. And how did you overcome that?
I think that like I moved to the Netherlands about 3 years ago. Okay. And before moving to the Netherlands, I also have my gallery stores in Vietnam, where I used to make art with a lot of other artists, and later become only me making the artwork. And when I moved to the Netherlands, I did not understand how people appreciate art here and how the art works here, because myself, I didn't grow up in a big culture where a lot of people appreciate art. And moving here, that like I don't want to do anything else. I still enjoy doing art, but I still don't know much yet. How can I live from my artwork? And that is the moment where doubt come in a lot. I questioning about my own art style, my own artistic version. I questioning so much about it. And I even asked myself, should I change my art style to fit in with the culture? Should I change this, and should I change a lot? And then in the end, that like when I'm able to overcome it, and I realized that I shouldn't change it, but I need to improve it. And that's the way that like I start seeing how can I improve my color, improve my layout, improve a lot of different things. And I think because of that challenge, it boosts my artistic skill a lot more.
How is it different in Vietnam compared to the Netherlands in the art culture? Or even style of art?
I think, because like the Netherlands have centuries of art history. So at a young age, a lot of people were born and raised in a lot of artistic experience. And where I come from, art will not be the first choice. So mostly it will be food, and after that will be comfortable in life. And art will come very later than that. So we don't have like much education when it comes to art, and we don't experience a lot of different things. However, nowadays the things change a lot. But the time when I grew up, it's very much limited, and that's the affected to your artistic vision and to people around you as well.
So in terms of their style of art, I know that in the Netherlands, because of the constant gray weather,
Yeah.
you know, and as you say, their history is a lot more Renaissance
Yeah.
style. How is it different? I see that you have a lot of color and a lot of expression, a lot of different bold brushstrokes in your artwork.
Yeah.
How is it different?
I feel that like when I moved to the Netherlands, this country is so liberal and very open-minded, and I feel that like I can be fully authentically myself, and there is so many great artists around, and this can be very good inspired as well. So it inspired me to express more color, more stronger textures, or more. It's hard to explain this because like in the culture where so much art, and every artist have his own uniqueness. You like to experience also that way. So I have very strong painting, but also have the other side very calm, serene painting as well.
Walk me through the process of your paintings. So I see that you do a lot of big portrait paintings. I'm always impressed about people who can paint portraits because, you know, it takes a lot of, in my head, it takes a lot of structure to make sure the nose is in the middle, the eyes, the lips, and everything is structured. Walk me through the process of creating one of these.
Usually, to create one of these painting, I will have so many layers on top of it.
So many layers?
So many layers. And I started with one layer first. And this layer, the color I picked this layer is just a random color. This random color actually affected to all the rest of the color I would choose. And when I start the painting, I would not know how the painting will look when it finished. And this one will come in the middle of the way. So when I start painting, there's another color will come up. Then I will work on with that color. And my goal is usually when I make one portrait like this, the color still balanced, the layout still stay out very nice, and then it also express the emotion. So start usually with one layout, and then when it finish, I will have another layer of color on top. And when it all dry, that is where the time for sketching. And when the sketching finish, that will be a time for using a palette knife to start painting on top. And a lot of back and forth observation, color balance, and able to make this painting.
So in one session, how, like you said, you know, you use a lot of palette knife. So in one session, how long would it take you to stop, observe, like maybe you spend an hour and then you stop, let it dry a bit. So is it like that kind of process where it's a...
It's usually that process, And when I work under pressure, the time that you're able to observe is a lot less. And however, I like it this under pressure because like partly as a perfectionist person, when you're under the pressure, you don't have a lot of time to consider it. And I think that like it giving you a lot more freedom for painting. And during that like let go, it make me actually create a lot more color combination that I never thought I could make it before.
Definitely. Talk to me about your latest exhibition. You open your art gallery. How was the experience?
You know, like the feeling that you're able to do something that within yourself and able to overcome a lot of thought in your head. And because I'm very new here in the Netherlands, and of course like I am not having much support, and running the whole gallery, making art at the same time all by myself, it was one of the biggest challenging. And able to create a space that when people come feel comfortable, that feel inspired, and it giving me the idea that you can do a lot. You can do more than what you believe. and it just depends on the situation that giving you that chance to express yourself or not. So I really appreciate this challenge that giving me the belief that I can do so much. And this also inspired a lot of people, and I think that is my biggest achievement, to open this gallery. Make people feel that like they can do more than what they believe.
And your exhibition was themed on the theme rain.
Yeah.
Tell me a bit about the rain experience.
So I picked the rain for the theme for this exhibition. The reason because like rain for me is a symbol of renewal. Rain is like a fresh start. It's less space for the new thing to grow, and it's aligned with the idea of the new gallery to be open. And also rain that touches everyone that equally. It's the same as how I hope that this gallery become a space where everybody feel welcome, where art connect and inspire everybody. And the rain is one thing I really like it is some people like it and some people don't. And it's similar with art. Some people enjoyed it and some people felt this is not for me, but it's always there. And I love that idea about it. So rain is inspired me to create the first exhibition for the grand opening of the gallery.
And walk me through the rain process. Is it like you have your studio where you drip the paint down, or how do you create the rain effect?
So to create a rain effect, that I use in acrylic mixes with water, and this acrylic mixes water that I will drip directly on top of the painting, and this dripping is create an organic form, just like natural running down. And when I set up the canvas straight up.
It must be a lot of freedom to just put the paint on and let it drip.
Absolutely, yeah.
And opening the art, the gallery, was there any setbacks or any obstacles that made you feel like, man, this it's a little hard? Or how did these obstacles shape your journey as an artist in the Netherlands? So firstly,
Yeah.
how was there any setbacks in opening the art gallery?
I think a lot of setback is my own thought, that like when you do everything by yourself, you become an artist. You run your own gallery, you hosting people, you create a lot of design, and running a gallery is not the same as working full time as an artist. There's so many factors around, and you need to learn very fast. And in this case, as so new to the country, learning new things and then adapt into a new way of working, that sometimes did make me a few times setback. But overcoming it is a great feeling as well.
And it's very inspiring also.
Yeah.
How do you navigate the emotional highs and lows of doing all of that? How do you keep yourself grounded in terms of, as an artist, you feel things a lot more expression.
Absolutely, yeah.
How do you manage that?
I think if you asked me this question maybe a few months ago, I would just cry. I would not able to express my emotion through this, because like of course every artist have their own struggling, and me is no exception. And when you're doing art, but you also want it to be create a space when you can be fully independent to create art, and there are a lot of challenge coming, and the setback, the high and low is hard. And there is one part inside me that like I keep believing, and I always believe even when I started this, that art will bring people together, and my art is being appreciated by many people, and I want it to be seen. And that motivation pushing me through all that high and low.
That's beautiful, man. And as you speak about your art, my question is, how do you want people to experience your artwork when they look at it and they stand in front of it? How do they want them to feel about your piece that you made?
This is a very good question. When I make a painting, I always leave room for people to enjoy the artwork by their way. And for me as an artist, I feel like when I'm able to hang the artwork on, I finish the part from my side as an artist, that's my creation. And the other part is like I want the people feel what they want to feel. And of course, like the nice feeling is nice. And having the gallery and see so many people feel differently about one painting, that's really interesting. That's a joy that I, as an artist, able to give in.
Do you know your models that you choose?
Most of the model is not real. They are not real people.
Really?
Yeah, so,
Wow,
yeah.
that's impressive.
Yeah.
And it's almost like you know them through looking at them on the canvas. That's really impressive. What is your most personal piece that you've ever created? The piece that you said would define your artistic journey.
I have one painting, and that painting I done in 2013,
Okay.
and I only sketched it in black and white. And in 2013, I don't even know how to use color, so my art was only black and white. And I first made this painting for my first galleries in Vietnam at that time. So this painting I keep close to my heart. And
you have it?
I have it, yeah. It's actually behind you, so.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I'm include it
Yeah.
in the video. Nice.
Yeah, so that's my very first painting that I showcased in public.
Do you know the people portrayed in
They
the
are, you know, like where I come from, we have like so many people that living on the streets. Life happen a lot on streets. So those people that I'm sketching, that people around me that I don't know. So I make a lot of sketching from ordinary people.
And is this painting for sale? Is this sketching for sale?
That painting I don't sell. It's for me. It's a memory.
How do you balance the your personal life and how demanding an artist is? You know, it takes a lot of isolation. I would assume that it takes a lot of isolation. How do you balance that with your personal life?
You know, like I believe that like creativity comes from your calmness, and when you calm, you're able to feel a lot more. And to balance this is, you know, it's always struggling, always different thing, and artists always have so many different thoughts. So able to find a moment to be in quiet, and that's important. So for me, that I try to say at least few beginning of the morning or late at night to be by myself, to have that quiet moment to balance.
There's a lot of people, including myself, who thinks that being an artist is a lot about isolation, and you have to be very, I don't want to say lonely because that must be a little dramatic, but if you understand what I mean, it takes a lot of self-reflection, a lot of internal expression to be an artist. And the misconception is that a lot of artists are sad. A lot of artists needs to be like a perfect example, Van Gogh. You know, he's misunderstood to be this crazy guy. And you know, what's your outlook on that? How do you think that an artist should be?
I think the artist should be, the most importantly as an artist is being inspired. You could be inspired by people. You could be inspired by the nature. You could be inspired by so many different things. And I think that like surround yourself with some people that inspired you is important, because like my idea, inspiration can come from many different sources. Some people come from within when they have the quiet moment. Some people being around friends. Some people being around other artists. Some people being around beautiful paintings or other thing around. So it really depends on each person in this case.
And when you create art, how do you balance what your vision of your art is and also make it marketable? You know? How do you portray your message but also make it something appealing to where people would want to purchase your art?
I think this have to come with observation skill, because like sometimes when you make a painting, that you're able to live from what you create too. you also have to give room for other people to enjoy your work. So seeing how people like it, seeing how you like it, and then how can you combine that two things together. And that means you can live in your dream, doing what you love, but also being appreciated by other people.
And in terms of the business part of running a gallery, being an artist, do you have any background of business or
So,
to know how to market yourself?
I have, this is actually my second gallery.
Oh, okay. So you have experience in gallery work. Okay. And what themes and messages do you focus on your current artwork? What themes do you have in your current artwork? I know that you did an exhibition with Rain.
Yeah.
Are you still making work from this exhibition collection?
The Rain collection, like so far a week now, and I received so many positive feedback from a lot of people. A lot of people enjoyed it, and this will be also can be used in the future as well. And
so like you would do it again?
Yeah, with a different, with always a little twist to it.
How do you stay inspired by making all this art? You know, a lot of artists go through very numb times where they feel like I have a block, I can't do anything. For example, it's not my interview, but for example, I started painting, and I think that I went to a whole year and a half where I didn't touch my paintbrush.
Wow.
Out of fear. How do you stay inspired as an artist to continue painting?
This is an interesting question. For me, that like idea and inspiration come constantly. I have so much of the idea, and I just feel like when I start painting, there's another idea already come in. And similar for this series, I prepare already quite a lot of idea for the series. But when I start, I change every single thing.
Okay.
So there's a lot of idea inside, and I just wish there's a lot more time to create.
And what new projects or directions are you're excited to pursue? Is there any new exhibitions that you're working on right now?
I really hope that like I can create a space that also inspire other artists, and really hope in the future that like there's another minded artist that can join me, that we can make a exhibition together and with a team. So he or she can have the idea, and then we both working on that together.
What would you say that your art says visually that you can't put in words? When someone looks at your art, there's something that it says that you can't put into words. What's that?
I think it's the emotion. The emotion is complex. Some people that fell in love right away with the painting, and some people felt like this is not for me. And I think that's the beautiful about art, because it makes it individual have a different way to connect to it, and that is hard to express through words. Certain people being attracted by certain color, by the layout, by the subjects that being painted, and some people can stand hours watching the painting, and some painting will not catch attention to anyone. So,
do you remember the time where you were confident enough to call yourself an artist? Because a lot of artists suffers from what we call imposter syndrome. Me, I've created almost 30 paintings, and I still feel a bit cringy calling myself an artist. Do you remember that time where you could confidently call yourself an artist?
When I realized that like everybody can make art, and when I realized there is so many rules that in art that you created, but when you paint, there actually not much rule. You break all the rules, and basically everybody is an artist for me. So when I realized that is the moment I feel proud to be able to call myself as an artist.
And with that being said, what's your definition of success with being an artist?
Being success as an artist is where you feeling 100% confident in what you created, and when you see what you created being inspired by other people and being appreciated, And as an artist, that is what I wish for.
So being an artist, it's more of how your work can inspire other artists or everyone that comes into it. Nice. And at the end of your journey, what would you like someone to, what is the message you would like to leave behind with your artwork? You want to, well, first of all, all the portraits that you make, how do you want yourself to be remembered? We remember Van Gogh as this very expressionist, and he was his own man. How do you want people to remember you?
I want people feeling like that, remember me that like you can really do everything by yourself. You really can have that power within you, and you really can live your dream when you believe in it.
And looking back, what advice would you give a young artist? If someone who is struggling with, getting their art out, what advice do you give them?
Keep on painting, and don't afraid taking a risk. Don't afraid that like to showcase your work to other people, and be open about other people critic, and keep on painting.
A lot of people think that, when, like, for example, even myself, I look at your painting and I say, I don't think I can ever do that. What message do you give to someone like me who thinks that, I can never produce this kind of art?
I was the same as you too. Like when I see a painting, I was wondering like how could I done this? How the person could make this? But over time, and the more curiosity you had, the more question you find out, and the more you try, the more you find a new technique, and the more you do, the more you paint, the more you realize you learn so much more about what you're creating, because like we always we always be busy in our mind about what we're gonna make, but we're not making much. And when you really go to it, there's so many inspiration. Inspiration come when you start doing things, and a lot of time we're waiting for the inspiration to come and start painting. And for my advice, we should paint, then the inspiration will come.
My last two questions. Do you have any regrets in your artistic journey? Do you have anything that you look back and said, I regret that?
Absolutely no.
You learn from all of your experiences. And what for you is your biggest lesson that you have learned from yourself in your artistic journey?
One more time, please.
What's your biggest lesson that you learn from yourself in your artistic journey?
That I really see that art can connect people, and art can inspire other people. And if you truly believe in what you're doing, and you can really make it.
If there's anything else you would like to say to the camera, you can.
Give me a second.
We cut it out. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot for this.
But you did so good, man. I couldn't even tell that you were nervous. You did so well.